Here we go.
Hey, we're back. Welcome to StreamGeeks Live.
Thank you so much for joining us. It's been so long since we've been live on this channel, so we're so excited to revive it today.
It's great to be here with you guys. Thank you.
The geekiest live stream. So before we get too deep into this stream, we have to start the stream inside the stream.
What is a stream inside the stream,
Oh,
Paul?
yeah. Oh, Mike's got it. All right, here it is. The TikTok stream.
Dun, dun, dun.
Welcome to our first ever TikTok stream. We had to research how to do it. The Stream Geeks are newbies at TikTok, and here we are.
And we are
There
live.
we go. All right, so we got our TikTok going.
So we are now live streaming on TikTok for the first time ever. Hello, TikTok people, TikTok world. This is our
Hello.
first stream on TikTok, so show us some love, give us a like. And for those of you who are watching on YouTube, thank you for joining us. We are the Stream Geeks, and we welcome you, our fellow Stream Geeks, to this channel.
Tip, viewers might come and watch it soon.
Yes.
You got to give it time for them to join.
Yeah. No, I like how they're really like making it easy for beginners here.
So you can follow us at StreamGeeks1 on TikTok, right? That's correct.
Yeah, whoever took Stream Geeks official
We're coming for you.
is like, I need to have a talk with you. How much are you going to charge us?
Seriously.
All right. Well, we got what were we going to start with? Were we going to show the evolution of our studios?
Yeah,
first, Sean?
I'm curious because I've never been on a StreamGeek stream before or any video.
Uh-huh.
So I'm kind of curious how you guys, one, started StreamGeeks, and I want to learn a little bit about the evolution of the studio, and then we can talk about the summit as well.
And this is pre-show content.
Yeah. Pre-show, all about the show, yeah.
Okay.
All right, cool. I do have we have some pictures here of our very first studio as the Stream Geeks, and they're pretty rough, but they get better with time.
Like a fine wine.
This one I love. We bought a green screen that I'm going to say was 12 to 15 feet long.
Wow.
And then you'd pull it down. So this is just a regular conference room. And I guess, sometimes it's just like, what's the first step? It's like, okay, well, we have cameras in this conference room. They're made for video conferencing. How about I stick a green screen behind me? And then basically what I would do is do something like this and put like some graphics behind there. We had no idea what we were doing in those early days.
What would I find on daily.ptzoptics.com if I went there?
I don't think that works anymore, but there was a daily vlog, and that was kind of the very early days.
It's just like 2015, you would say? 2014?
Yeah, 2016 maybe.
Oh, two babies.
And then Tess and I do look younger because it was 8 years ago. And we were like, you know what? Let's like make a studio. Like, let's actually try. Because before that, it was just a green screen.
I know. So everything on that table, we still own somewhere in this office space.
What's
which
funny is like the budget. Like, think about the budget there. It's probably like $80.
Yeah,
I was like,
seriously.
we can afford to get like a clock and like a few. Like,
Is
small-
that a shelf under there?
Yeah, I think that was a shelf.
Oh, we got like some moss balls that we put in a bowl. I remember that.
Oh yeah, that wasn't bad. And then we hired your husband to put up some blue.
I loved
brick.
that blue brick.
I
That
know.
worked.
I mean, look,
It was cool.
that's a good look. I forget who we saw doing that, but that's a good look.
Yeah, I forget where we got that blue brick idea from, but with the colored light, see that? You can see the light right there.
Yeah.
I might have to let our TikTok viewers see the actual screen while we're doing this. We're going through some of our older studios here. Try to remember we have all these people joining on TikTok.
Oh, awesome.
Welcome,
Welcome,
TikTok.
TikTok.
We are the Stream Geeks. We teach and educate about live streaming, and this is our first TikTok stream, so show us some love.
So we were live streaming to YouTube and Facebook at the same time before like Restream existed. So it was crazy, and we were pulling in the comments via YouTube.
Before Facebook Live existed.
Yeah,
That's what's
I
crazy.
mean, at that point,
It was.
Facebook Live was there, but when
Yeah.
we started streaming, it was the very
it was
beginning.
just YouTube. We had YouTube and we had HubSpot, which we were new to as well. But we had the ability to like email people and be like, hey, we're live streaming, come.
I'll never forget on one of my first live streams, I put the wrong link in HubSpot into the email. I put the wrong link, and then one of our older employees who's not even here anymore ran in the room and he's like, the link is wrong. And I was like, oh, I'm fired.
Who was it that said that? Do you remember?
It was Shoop.
Oh.
Not Jason.
Phil Shoop.
Phil.
Wow.
It was Phil.
That's funny. So this is a little bit wider of a shot here of the and by the way, TikTok and our people there, we are trying to get
the desktop
app so that we can really have a professional stream on TikTok. So if anyone from TikTok is listening, please help us. But this is an image of kind of so you can see a little bit better. So it really was a conference room. We got a green screen, and then we built out this little nook that like happened to be there in the corner.
Yeah, it was just the perfect little spot. And then I sat in the nook, and you sat in front of the green screen. And we had 2 angles then. How many cameras do you think were working in that room? Just 2?
Well, I guess that's our last picture, but at one point I think we got up to like 4 or 8. Yeah. And it was a miracle that we got all those cameras working, but we did. Then this is studio number 2. So we got this studio. We went with the red brick background.
Yep.
And then we had a stand-up desk, which everybody liked. This is Mike doing his streaming. Mike is still here, by the way.
Still producing
the live stream.
Killing the game.
Rocking the show.
There he is.
There he is.
Hey.
Shout out to Mike, our producer.
And then we had this little like area that wasn't super professional either. But looking back, it's like I wonder what people thought of this, because it's definitely not. It's like trying to be YouTuber, podcaster, but not really.
We had made it by that point to official YouTubers.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
This stand-up desk area was pretty good because it was like a little presentation space.
Yes.
TV there. And there was a confidence monitor. I mean, it wasn't like we weren't trying. I mean, look at all these cameras. Then we built another studio where we started to get a little bit more of a budget. We had some more interesting things going on here. And now this is where we're at today.
Whoa.
So this is where we're at.
This is definitely our best studio that we've ever had. And it really speaks to sort of the evolution as a streamer and as a content creator. As your channel grows, as your business grows, your studio grows too.
Absolutely. I mean, you can see the evolution pretty clearly, like from the lighting, from the amount of cameras you had, from like the beautiful StreamGeeks background that we have here now that's hand-painted. It might not look hand-painted from where you're watching, but it actually is, hand-painted, and it's beautiful. I mean, I love this studio. I remember when I first came in and Paul gave me the tour, I was like, wow, this is serious stuff for Downingtown, Pennsylvania. It was kind of blew me away the first time I saw the studio here.
You know, looking at all this, it really reminds me that like if we were too timid to like ever get started when the lighting was bad and the cameras didn't look great, and trust me, the audio wasn't good. Like nothing of the core pillars of like what makes a stream was working. Mm-hmm. You know, we could have just, and like honestly, we never got to a good level until like 4 or 5, like to like a level that I would be proud of for years.
Yeah.
So I guess we were just like okay at being like in the wind with a lot of what people would suggest for a long time until we got to a point where I would be proud of what we're producing.
Yeah, I don't know if failure is the right word, because live streaming, you constantly have issues. There's constantly things that come up. I mean, even network alone is like so complicated and trying to balance a stream and keep it live. But you have to take these risks, and sometimes the stream won't work out the way you imagine it to, but
many times.
You're coming back the next week though, and you're keeping it going and going and going, and then you see these huge improvements over time once you actually get to a big studio like this. It's great. It's really impressive.
Sorry.
No.
Shit takes time.
It does, yeah.
It really
what
does.
are the recent changes that we've seen in the studio here, Paul?
Is it sounding good, Tess?
Yeah, it's
Checking
sounding
out
great.
The
You can
TikTok?
hear
Oh, no.
you really well.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Good. I mean, I'm happy with the throwing the TikTok in here. Like, I foresee so much in the future of getting the desktop app on TikTok and really producing. And we have Ashley over here as well, who I think might be able to help a bit with the 9x16, the vertical world.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like even if you have a full 4K production, which we do, multiple production testing stuff, there's still a need for like what we're doing now, like a phone still, or a 9x16. So there's still so much exciting stuff that I'm excited to do. But I'd say the lighting was a game changer.
Yeah.
Yes. Figuring out the lighting, and it's challenging. It took us a long time to figure that out. We're still tinkering with it constantly. It's a constant evolving thing.
Did you ever expect when you like first started StreamGeeks? Do you like remember the first time you like pitched StreamGeeks?
I do sort of remember Tess and I thinking about what we should name it.
I remember thinking about what we should name it. We had a list on paper.
Yeah, it came together. And we were like, that's it.
I wish I still had that list. But once
do you remember other names?
Once we found StreamGeeks, I think it clicked, and we're like, we're going to be StreamGeeks.
Yeah.
Stream Dudes, Stream Guys. What were the other names? Can you think of any?
I can't remember that, but I do remember the impetus as to why. And the why is that we were quite literally getting a little bit of flack for talking about things in the streaming industry that had nothing to do with the products that we were selling.
Yeah.
And in all, transparency, we do represent PTZOptics, and that is really the business behind the streaming that we do here. And we were like, but we want to make a video about vMix. We want to make a video about OBS. And there was a little bit of, no one's fault. No pointing fingers here, but people were like, hey, you need to make we need a channel only for this. And then we need another channel for all of our creative outlet for just being StreamGeeks.
Yeah.
And that was the reason why.
I think you've seen how much it's affected just like your relationship with the streaming industry in general, the tech business, AV industry in general. I mean, I went to NAB with you guys together recently, and everyone knows you, especially Paul, and she was asked to get a photo taken when she was there as well.
Really does?
Yes, remember someone asked to take your photo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like Ted Lasso in the last scene. Did you ever see that?
No.
Oh, yeah.
But I think it's because you guys have been so open. You're willing to talk about other products. You're willing to kind of dive deep in all sorts of different setups, even if it's not directly related to PTZ or HuddleCam. And I think that's earned you guys a level of respect in the industry, and the way people like see you guys and they see how open you are and you're willing to talk about anything. So that's really awesome. I mean, I don't think a lot of companies are willing to do that and go out of their way to talk about other products, but it's definitely helps people all the time. I mean, you can see the comments of people are saying like, thank you for this tutorial about vMix, like even though it's not directly tied into maybe the product, but we do have a lot of tie-ins with vMix and PTZOptics. But where do you see, now that we've talked about our evolution of the studio, where do you see like the studio going from here? Like should we bring a green screen back in here? What should we do?
That's a good question. I could see us bringing a green screen back.
Oh, for sure. There's a new technology called 3D that is opening up some interesting doors for virtual sets, and not necessarily virtual reality, but green screen virtual sets, maybe even augmented virtual reality.
Yeah.
So that is going to come. I'm very, again, bullish on 9x16 vertical video, and I'd like to see a monitor in this studio hung vertical. And so I almost envision it like behind you right there, John.
Sure.
Or like behind you, Tess. So it would be like, I really want to think about the positioning of where, but like a giant screen where life size, you see life size, if not bigger than real life, images of us on a vertical screen. Because that just seems so modern to me.
Yeah.
If you see that, you're like, oh, I haven't seen that before.
Yeah, that would be sweet.
But it does make sense. Everyone looks at this stuff this way. And so I want that. And we have a budget to improve the studio, and that's part of the reality, right? Like a little bit at a time. One more thing. So that's what I foresee. And even today, even right now, one of the things we're going to do today that I'm super excited about is we're going to do a TikTok minute. And we're going to be recording, I think for the first time, we've been doing this for a long time. For the first time, we're going to take a moment to make vertical video within a live stream using OBS and NDI. So we'll talk about that later. But I see that becoming more and more important when I look at YouTube Shorts and I look at the TikTok analytics and I think about the generation coming up and what they consume. That's what I'm sort of seeing for the future.
Yeah, I definitely see that. I mean, TikTok is so big. I'm glad we're like pursuing that avenue more and looking into it and seeing the different kinds of streaming content on TikTok. I think it varies a lot based on most other platforms. especially since it's that 9:16 format. It changes a lot. Tess, what would you like to see added to this studio? I know we mentioned the green screen. Anything else you want? Do we need more props? Do we need more chat interactions? What else do we need here?
That's a good question. We talked about branding our sound panels. I think that would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
If we could do that in the future.
A logo for like each brand on them. That'd
Something
be cool.
like that.
Yeah.
I think of like the aesthetics and the vibe in here, but I'm pretty happy with like the furniture and the decor. I really enjoy the studio, so not too much there to change.
This is definitely the most comfortable studio that you guys have ever had.
Yeah.
Definitely. We get to sit down.
This is the first time we
cozy
actually
on
got
the couch.
couches. I mean, but I will say there's something I miss about having a standing set. Because you get the blood pumping, and so I don't.
That's true.
I miss that because I'm always so seated all the time.
Yeah.
So I would like to, for just a second, because I feel like we have a minute. Can I walk over to the TikTok minute? Is it too early to show that, Mike? And just
You can show that off at
just
least.
we do have some stand up stuff over here. If I move it over here, this is going to be our stand up TikTok set. And so we are going to have some moments of standing. I miss this part of it. And then we have the stand-up desk over here. We used to always stand up over there. Maybe we put it over there. I don't know. I miss that. Because I like to be up. And we even had like standing pads. So we were like, we weren't on hard.
We were comfy.
Comfy. And we would just stand there. And I felt a little bit more active and engaged. But, TikTok minute.
Isn't that cool,
Oh,
Paul?
we even got the 1 minute countdown timer. So that's the plan.
Yeah.
1 minute countdown, summaries, recorded on OBS, ready for social media.
Let's explain what the TikTok Minute's going to be. It's going to be a segment of our live show that we're going to hopefully continue on, where we, in 1 minute's time, explain what we're talking about on the show on TikTok. For our TikTok viewers, we'll make it into a short video that we then post on TikTok and probably YouTube Shorts too. To engage people off of the show, because we know that giving little snippets of content to people can actually help bring them to your main production, and it's a good way to engage with new audience members.
Yeah, when I thought about it, when I first looked at it, I was like, what am I going to do in 60 seconds? And to be honest, it is a little challenging.
I know.
It's a unique.
I'm a little nervous for it.
It's a unique, but now we're doing it live, which is really not the way most people do it. Most people will record 10 clips and edit them out and stitch them in and do B-roll and all that stuff, which we're not going to do live. But when I think about these shorts, it's the perfect way to introduce yourself to a new audience. And I quite frankly think that's how the YouTube algorithm works. Like, we have hundreds, maybe even thousands of long form, hour-long videos, all in widescreen. But how are we going to grow our audience and reach people? You have to do it in a short amount of time, generally on mobile. It's just where people are, and that's how they consume the content.
Let us know in the chat what you're streaming. What do you live stream? I want to know what content you're putting out there.
Yeah, that'd be great. Type of content, maybe even types of hardware that you use, cameras, audio, because we're going to be talking about streaming on every budget later in the stream today. So that'd be great. I'm curious, since you guys have done StreamGeeks for so long and you've had communicated with this audience for such a long time, have you learned over the course of StreamGeeks, Paul, from the audience itself? Have they taught you about new streaming hardware or new features as you've done StreamGeeks over time?
I'm glad you mentioned that, because that's 100% true. I'm just giving all of our TikTok viewers a little better view here. But essentially, we in the beginning got so much advice from our audience because we needed it.
Yeah.
And there were some viewers, like Mike Latta, if you remember, like, he only stuck around to like give us pointers, and then once we like completed learned everything we could from this guy, he stopped watching because I haven't seen him.
I haven't seen him either. I hope he's okay.
Yeah, I hope he's doing well. But I really think part of what he enjoyed was like the process, us not being like super amazing, and then him being able to give us so much input.
A lot of church live streamers, gaming and Twitch is another one. Piano concerts, that's a cool one, James.
Paul, we got to get into this gaming content.
Yeah,
I
I know. We got
know.
to figure this gaming content out.
Well,
I really am. a fan
What are the
of
kind of
that.
games that you enjoy, Paul? Maybe we can figure out the game, and then we can figure out a
Can it be
stream
board
around
games?
it. It could be board games.
I think board games do work. In
Yeah.
fact, with the StreamGeeks Summit, I would love to have a short intermission where everybody whips out their phones, because I don't know how else to do it. I was thinking about this. It's like, how are we gonna do an esports short game?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what if everyone doesn't have an Xbox? What if everyone doesn't have it? But I'm like, everyone has a smartphone.
That's true.
So what if everyone was using the same app? Maybe, but
There's Jackbox. I don't know if you've ever heard of those games.
Yes.
Oh, really?
That's
Yeah.
fun. We played that once before when we did our company.
You use like your phone
Virtual
as the
thing.
controller, and there are different games built into Jackbox. But yeah, they're basically trivia games, other games like that, where you all use your controller as or your phone as a controller. So
I'll give that a try.
yeah, if you're trying to open it up to like the audience, then I don't know what game would have that many people to allow access all into the same game. I don't know. It's tricky. Or do you play games outside of work at all?
Not
Yes.
regularly, actually. But I play Minecraft with my son.
Oh, okay. Learning it slowly. Such a complicated game. It's so big, or it's so small, depending on how you want to play it.
Yeah. That game
What about
I've
you,
never
Tess?
been able to get into. We play Mario Party a lot at home. We play Super Mario Deluxe. We play a lot of Nintendo Switch games, but I like Call of Duty on my own time.
The first-person shooter. I feel like we can get
You
you
like
going.
that's your game, Call of Duty,
my
yeah?
game.
What do you like about that? You like shooting all the soldiers?
It sounds creepy, but that's just, I don't know. I like pew, 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 pewing them.
Okay.
There's something very de-stressing about that.
There
It's
is.
like very mindless. It's just like you take
It's
your
satisfying.
frustration, anger out. The whole frustration of a day can go away from one game, right?
Well, I get pretty tense with it, honestly.
Adding more stress into your life.
Just what I need.
But yeah, I would love to see more gaming content. I think there's a perfect avenue to kind of talk about it here in the streaming world. I was mentioning earlier, like, I imagine what percentage of all streaming is gaming related. If it is the majority, if it's maybe like 50% of all streaming content is gaming related. And then choosing the right platform for gaming related content is now even more tricky, just because there's so many platforms to choose from. But it's kind of insane. I mean, when you guys first started StreamGeeks, were you simply, you said starting before YouTube or before Facebook, so were you just on YouTube? Is that the only platform you streamed
You were
to?
just on YouTube. I started
No,
right
yeah,
at the
Tess
beginning.
almost started immediately when Facebook started.
Okay.
And I remember I was like, hey, this thing is new. Let's jump on it. And Tess was all about it. And so I think we streamed to YouTube and Facebook at the same time, which was actually frowned upon / like against Facebook's policy, but they wouldn't do anything. But like, I don't even know like where the rule book is on that. But like, apparently you weren't supposed to do it.
They threw it out eventually, I
Yeah,
think.
they got rid of it.
Yeah, then they were like,
Yeah.
well, if you don't let anyone stream to YouTube and Facebook at the same time, then people are going to just not stream to Facebook because there's
Yep.
and Facebook at that time, by the way, this is a while back, was being a little bit was basically counting a view at like 3 seconds and making like it seem like you were getting way more views than you actually were.
Oh, wow.
And they actually got in trouble for that. So there was some weird things going on during those days. Facebook wanted all the people to go to stream to their thing, and then they were pumping their numbers. They got in trouble for it, of pumping the numbers and like counting, like what is really a view? Like YouTube counted a view as like 30 seconds, and then Facebook counted a view at like 3 seconds.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
so drastically different, which I think we're seeing that in like the streaming world now, where everyone is comparing and analytics is entirely different.
Yeah, I'd like to know what TikTok is too, because they're like, oh my gosh, you just got 200 views. And I'm like, did people just like immediately scroll past it?
Yeah, and
Like,
that counts as a
What
view.
are the views?
Yeah. No, you're right about Facebook. It was extremely restrictive. I remember when I first started at Vimeo, you couldn't RTMP stream at all to Facebook, so it was extremely limited. You needed there were whole companies built around generating streams on both Facebook and other platforms because they built like certain API in order to work around that. So it's kind of crazy how restrictive they were when you look at streaming now and how open it is. And they're like, you can stream from any device, as long as you have RTMP or RTMPS, you can go live and we won't restrict you on other platforms. But it's crazy how restrictive they were at first, and now we're kind of beyond that Wild West phase now.
They were afraid of being sued. Because like a lot of things that would also happen is that like, and I've had this happen to me before, like someone's car could drive by and they were blasting Bruce Springsteen and it would get picked up in the stream and then
Yeah.
your stream would get blocked or muted and you'd be like, what? Like, I mean, I wasn't playing like Bruce Springsteen, but someone drove by. Like it was that like simple.
Yeah.
Of like any, like someone's ringtone could be like a song and because Facebook was worried about, I mean, think about it. They probably had like millions of streams going on every day. And it's like, are they going to get sued? Like, are they liable? So they were being super protective.
Yeah. I wonder if we should do a StreamGeeks stream at some point and try to stream to like as many platforms as possible.
Well, we're streaming to a lot right now.
We are, but I'm wondering if we could build a stream that is like trying to break a stream by trying to stream to like 20 plus platforms all at once.
Not a bad
We should
idea.
try and break the stream.
Yeah, to try to break the stream. I feel like that's a very clickbaity idea.
We're going to break this stream.
Help us break the stream.
Help us break the stream, yeah.
Jay Durant wants to know a little bit about our streaming setup today,
Oh, that's a great idea.
how we're pulling it off.
Yeah, so it might be a good idea for Mike to show his behind the scenes shot for just a second here. So Mike is in the studio over there. You can see he's got vMix in the middle, YouTube on the left, and then he's got his stream deck in front of him. He's got nothing on the right one. And the reason why there's nothing on the right one is because we don't have any Zoom. You know, usually that's where like our Zoom guests will be or something like that. He's actually got a little microphone there that he can talk to us on.
Hey.
So he talks to us through his little microphone, and he's even, I believe he can hear us through those speakers there. He's got his stream deck set up. He's got his custom built PC with a brand new NVIDIA GTX 3090, I believe it is, or 3080. And then if you cut to a wide shot of the studio in here, we're all using a Shure SMB 7B microphones here. So we've got different setups for that. We've got a Rodecaster bringing it all in. And then I am running vMix on my computer and OBS over here because I'm doing a lot. Well, for one thing is I'm using vMix to send an NDI video feed back to Mike so he gets my desktop capture. That's how he shows the PowerPoint and things like that. And then over here on this side, on my vMix side over here, I can show Mike whatever I want. Generally speaking, that's a PowerPoint that we were showing here. But I also have OBS set up on this side, and that is already ready in the vertical video format to do our TikTok minutes. And so we're going to record our TikTok minutes and give that footage to our social media manager to do what she needs to with it. We've got some cool cameras.
I was just going to say, we're using PTZOptics cameras.
Yeah, so we're using PTZOptics cameras throughout. My main shot is a Studio Pro here. Almost all the cameras are PTZOptics Move 4K. We're using 4K cameras in most scenarios, but we do have some 1080p's mixed in.
There's 12, 13 PTZOptics cameras in here, something like
Yeah.
Something like that.
We have 13
unreal.
cameras.
And that's our streaming setup. But we're about to talk about what yours might be in just a minute here.
Yeah, the evolution of a streamer from basic, intermediate to professional streams. There's
That's
wiggle
all
room.
for the pre-show podcast then. Should we start the real thing?
I
Let's
think
do
we're
it.
ready.
All
Paul, how are
right.
you feeling?
I'm feeling good. Let me switch to my PowerPoint here. I'm ready to go.
We'll see you back in just a moment here, folks.
Boom, 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 boom. I don't think we have an intro video, so Welcome to Streaming with StreamGeeks,
Welcome to StreamGeeks.
the geekiest stream on the planet.
Are you a geek and want to stream?
Okay, here we go. I think Mike's bringing us back. Oh, we do have.
We got
do
something.
have
Oh,
something. Look at that.
Start the
Wow.
stream.
Let's start the stream game. Hey, welcome to StreamGeeks Live.
Hello.
What's up, Stream Geeks? Thank you for joining us today. We are so happy to be live again on Stream Geeks YouTube channel. It's been a while, but we're happy to be back.
Excited to be bringing to the world the 5th annual StreamGeeks Summit this year. I can't believe it's been 5 years since the very first StreamGeeks Summit that we hosted in New York City, in Manhattan, and we had a blast. But then after the pandemic, we started going virtual, and that's where we're going to stay for the time being. It's hybrid, so if you're in the Philadelphia area, you can come and join us. But the good news is we've got a bunch of great speakers. We're giving over $5,000 of tech away, so you guys can enter to win that. And it's going to be a huge day of education, huge opportunity to network with fellow stream geeks and video producers. So excited for that.
How did StreamGeeks Summit start, Paul? Like, what was the original idea for it? And you said it was in New York City in person?
Yeah, so we booked the Dream Downtown Hotel in Chelsea.
Oh, wow.
And it was a beautiful venue. We had all kinds. We had a keynote speaker, Jeffrey something his name was. He was an author of a really cool marketing book. I don't even know how we found him, to be honest. But we invited, because New York City's got a lot of great people, obviously. And so we got Mickey, live with Mickey from New York City, who's a really huge YouTuber. We got the Urbanists to come, even before he was super famous, by the way. Mm-hmm. Now he's super famous. Everyone that comes to the StreamGeeks Summit becomes super famous.
That's just how it works. Yeah.
But no, I mean, we honestly, the truth of why we did it is because we thought it might become the next like Vid Summit. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you're familiar with Vid Summit. It's a pretty big YouTuber conference, and they charge for tickets, and it's an actual business in itself. I thought the StreamGeeks Summit might become one day like a big conference, and like thousands of people would come, and it would be super amazing.
Virtually, thousands of people have attended.
But it's more of a virtual, it's totally free. We realize that that's not the business model that we want to, we want StreamGeeks to pretty much always be a free event. I would love it if there was thousands of people and there was a big conference in New York City and Gary Vaynerchuk was the keynote speaker and, it was super exclusive and then PR media. I mean, that was the dream. Mm-hmm. We haven't achieved that yet. We're on our 5th annual. We're going with Zoom events. It's super fun. Everybody enjoys it. Everybody comes back. And people like it, but we haven't achieved like we have a stage even too, but we haven't achieved like the full dream of what
mega
we were close. Yeah. We were so close in 2019. We like booked the Dream Downtown,
and then COVID,
and then boom, the pandemic. So
Oof.
Yeah. Really quick, if you're watching us right now on demand on TikTok or live on YouTube, if you want to register for the StreamGeeks Summit, the link is in the YouTube description on StreamGeeks YouTube channel. You can also enter the giveaway that Paul referenced in the link in the description as well. So make sure you head to that link and register for the summit. It's free. You can attend virtually, so it's a great event to attend to learn about live streaming. There's my little plug.
And we'll be streaming on TikTok for the StreamGeeks Summit as well.
Hopefully.
Yeah, by then we'll have 10,000 subscribers so we can stream the right way. Right now we're streaming with my smartphone, which is fine. We got it working.
Yeah. Little TikTok behind the scenes stream for us here. Yeah. What are they seeing? Are they seeing your computer currently right now?
I decided to put it on the computer screen because then it will show basically everything Mike's doing.
The video feed, yeah.
And they're still going to be able to hear you guys pretty good through these wireless mics.
Definitely, yeah.
Paul, Chad is in
Chad
the chat.
Burton's there?
Yeah, and he said, when I registered for NAB today and they asked who I wanted on the main stage, I obviously put Paul Richards.
Yes, thank you. No, that's exciting. And Tess and I have been on an incredible ride with the Stream Geeks, and we've hosted the NAB show live stream. And there was a time when we were going to, like the Stream Geeks were going to put together the entire NAB show live stream.
Yeah.
So it's led to tons of great opportunities and events. I still am holding on to my dream of having like a big Stream Geeks conference one day. We will get there. Right now,
we will get there.
We're just doing a virtual event, growing the audience, growing the brand.
I can see it though. I can see it because TwitchCon, it's specifically just for that platform and that specific kind of creators. So it's very different. There isn't a stream kind of convention for people that are streaming because streaming just covers so many broad topics. It could be anything, just like VidCon is about any video creator. So I think there's a total market for that and to continue to grow. And maybe by the 10th, we'll be on a big stage and we'll have Gary up there talking about streaming, and streaming is the future. So it's only growing too. So that is a key highlight. So make sure to register. You got to register for our 5th annual StreamGeeks Summit.
Link
be there
in the description.
Or be square. But I think it's ready to move on to some platforms of choices because today we're talking about streaming on every budget.
Nice. Let's do it.
Let's start from the beginning.
All right. So, and by the way, you can scan this QR code if you want to enter to win, we're going to be giving away a PTZOptics Studio Pro, a Magewell Mini Director, an Epiphan Pearl Mini. It's over $5,000 worth of streaming gear, and more are coming up. More sponsors are attending, so it'll be interesting to see. And our keynote speaker is Mike Russell from, I think it's Music Radio Creative.
Yep.
He's a really big YouTuber, and he said his stream is going to be on how AI can revolutionize your streams. All right, John. Topic number 1.
Let's dive into this. So you want to start streaming, right? And you maybe you have some equipment, maybe you don't, and we'll get into that, and we'll certainly cover your audio and video. But I think the first thing that you should think about as a creator is where you're going to be posting your content. And that's kind of why we started talking about, the limitations that you guys had starting out on YouTube, moving to Facebook. You're restricted by how the environment is around you in streaming. You don't have a lot of power when it comes to the platform. So choosing the right platform is really important and integral. So I think it's where you should start is what kind of content you're making, right? What kind of vertical do you fall into, whether it's gaming, whether it's cooking, there's so many different kinds of content you could be streaming. So I think that is the first question you need to ask yourself. Is that right? What kind of content you're making, therefore what kind of platform you should put it on? I think that is kind of pretty standard. So I think it's dependent on what kind of content, right? So there are larger, broad platforms like YouTube Live, Facebook Live, and there's not really like a restriction or specific kind of content that is on those platforms. You may still see the majority is gaming. For instance, Twitch is still, I think, predominantly gaming, while you have other kinds of streaming content there as well. I think when the major differences come down to the apps, so you're talking about Instagram Live, TikTok Live, those are platforms that are restricting, especially Instagram Live. You can only stream from your phone. There's no such thing as an Instagram, live studio like we have with the TikTok Live studio. So those are specific. If you have a large growing audience, you have like a lot of Instagram followers, you have a big TikTok video following, then it makes sense to stream and kind of stay on those platforms. Wouldn't you agree? You want to stay on the platforms that you have the largest following. But let's say you're starting out from zero, you have no followers, you have nothing. I think you define the kind of content you make, and then you choose the perfect platform that defines that content. So when we look at things like Twitch, it's largely gaming. YouTube, Facebook, you're more open, and then specifically the apps. Then we see like a platform like Kick here.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with Kick.
Yeah, it's probably the smallest, and certainly is the smallest platform on here. And it's known as like the kind of free speech platform, because a lot of people are leaving YouTube in regards to their community guidelines. So some people look at that as a negative thing. They look at it as like, oh, that's where right-wing people who get kicked off of major platforms go. But what you're going to have there is a smaller audience, but a more centered and focused audience, because you have people that are following a creator that's not as big. They're not thousands of comments coming in. So I think there's a chance that you could grow more on a smaller platform like that. And it's not restricted to gaming content. It's open. They allow a lot of different kinds of content as well. So I basically just wanted to kind of summarize some of the major platforms. Obviously, there's more than just these major 6, but I would say that these are the major 6 players. And where we go from here, what changes, I think kind of depends on the market and what company can kind of survive. Like, will Kick be able to survive against these big Googles and Facebook? I don't really know. And Amazon with Twitch, I don't really know if they can do that. But it's a good option right now. And I think really the answer to this question is you should be streaming to more than just one platform, right? Wouldn't you agree that simulcasting is kind of necessary in the day and age of streaming now?
Yes,
so.
I mean, it has. Our experience is like we were doing it now, so I'm not saying not to do it, but you shouldn't go much further than the chats and audiences that you can actually engage. I feel like, which we are guilty of. We have a team here, so it's not just one person. So that we do have people that can check these things and chime in. And Mike has the ability to show comments and lower thirds to us, and so we do our best. But I do think that it might be a mistake to stream somewhere if you have no intention of creating content there, or checking the chat there, because I have seen like chats come in on Twitch that we missed, and then the people just left.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So if you can't engage that audience, then maybe more is or less is more in that scenario.
Yeah.
one thing that we started doing recently is creating more TikTok videos, right? And then I realized that if you get CapCut or you get an editor where you can just make the video on your phone and then upload that same short to YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, that's 4 platforms with the same video.
Yep.
And they all love short form 60-second content. But I do think, and so that makes a lot of sense. Like if you're going to make a video and there's 4 different platforms to upload it to, that's fine. People comment, they don't expect you to be there live, but live streaming is a little different in the sense that they do expect you to, I mean, there is some, unless you are not going to engage with that audience. So it's just having realistic expectations, I think, on that front.
I think Twitch is a very specific platform too, because they don't really focus on like the video on demand aspect of it. And I think correct me if I'm wrong though, I think it's still limited to 30 days. Like that's the longest that you can kind of host VODs on Twitch. So it's not really focused on uploading videos there. That's very much, this is a live platform only. So I think that is really wise what you mentioned, that if you're not posting content on there, and if you are someone who wants to post videos as well as live content, like you want to look at something like a Facebook Live, a YouTube Live, because you're going to have that dual aspect of posting content. And then same goes for the apps. When you're talking about Instagram and TikTok, you're talking about a different kind of video. You're talking about 9:16. It's entirely different. You know, some people may want to stream their cooking video in 9:16, but a lot of people want that wider space. They want it to look more cinematic, maybe what they're used to on television. So I think it really depends on the content you want and what kind of content you're going to be posting on these platforms. I think that kind of summarizes it. So I think we summarized the platforms, choosing the right platforms for you. Who wants to do the TikTok minute on choosing the right platform?
This is going to be fun. I can't wait.
You want to try, Paul?
You want to try?
All right, fine. I'll do it.
All right. For those who don't know, while Paul goes up there, we have a TikTok minute. It's kind of part challenge, part game, part creating content. What Paul's going to be doing is going up to our little stand/booth here, and he's going to try to summarize choosing the right stream.
Okay. It is good to have you in here to take pictures and stuff. We still have 15 people holding strong. We had closer to 50 though.
Okay. I think
Yeah, we're back.
A TikTok minute though after that.
Yeah.
Can you remember what we were talking about as a challenge?
All right, we're doing the TikTok minute here. You got to summarize choosing the right streaming platform in 1 minute for TikTok, Paul.
All right, we can do this. Let's do it.
You got this. You got this.
Here we go. Now, if this breaks the stream again, we are getting rid of the TikTok minute.
Remember
waiting for the countdown timer.
Remember to start the video as if it's just a regular video, like Hey StreamGeeks or something.
You want to intro it and outro it.
Yeah,
you want to intro and outro because we're posting it on its own.
I forgot that. Okay, got it. Here we go. Boom. Waiting for the countdown timer. Oh, and it needs to be recorded. Duh.
For those of you that stayed with us, you're the real ones. Thank you for those who came back.
Here we go.
Our stream died, but we recovered it.
We're back at it for a TikTok minute.
For our TikTok minute that we were going to do, which was going to be so fun. That's all right. We could bring the energy back.
Here we go. What's up, StreamGeeks? Paul here, recapping in a quick TikTok minute for you guys. Which platform should you really be streaming on? We've got YouTube. We've got Facebook. We have Instagram. You can stream on Instagram, right?
Oh, yeah.
We've got TikTok. We've got Twitch. And then a new one called Kick. I mean, that's a lot to manage. Should we all get Restream accounts and stream to all of them? The answer is maybe. My personal opinion is to stream to the ones that you can actually engage with in the chat. Don't stream to places that you have no ability to follow, engage, create content on. Sometimes less is more. And in this case, that is the StreamGeeks advice. Just go on YouTube and Facebook, if that's all you can handle. Don't add Twitch if you can't. If you can, do it. If you're just going all in on Twitch, I get it. Might work for you, might work, might not. We'll see. That's a TikTok minute for you. Boom.
Great job.
Well
wonderful,
done,
wonderful, Paul. See, you nailed it. Killed it.
You crushed that, actually.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
I knew you would.
That was so amazing.
Great job.
So for those who just tuning back in, who are so confused what's going on, that is our new segment, the TikTok Minute, where we summarize our individual segments in a minute for a TikTok audience. And we are also streaming here currently on TikTok. You can find us at StreamGeeks1 on TikTok.
Oh, I ended the TikTok.
Okay, well, we were streaming on TikTok for StreamGeeks1. You can also find us there as well.
Should we start it up again?
Yeah, why not? Let's do it.
All right, if you've never streamed on TikTok before, it goes a little something like this. You open up the TikTok app.
Ask him a play-by-play.
Okay, Paul is opening up the TikTok app. He's going to the content section where you can take pictures or you can go live. You'll see the go live button. It's pretty easy peasy from there. 3, 2, 1, and we're live on TikTok.
StreamGeeks.
We're back for our official second stream to TikTok ever.
Yeah, and if you don't know, you need 1,000 followers on TikTok to go live. So we just got that today, and we're happy to join you guys on TikTok as well as YouTube here. And we are talking about streaming on every budget type. And I think there's no better way than talking about the budget-friendly, the basic streaming, the very start of getting ready. So when I think of the basic or budget-friendly essentials for streaming, I think of the people that are just getting started. They have a hobby. They have a podcast that they want to go live with. So I think before we even get into the hardware, the kind of things that you might want to bring in for streaming, what would you give for someone who is just getting started, just kind of figure out things? What is their first kind of starting steps for streaming, Paul?
Well, you know, John, I love these little microphones that we got recently. It just plugs right into my phone. 2 wireless mics and a receiver for $40, I think it was, maybe even $30.
And it seems to be working well.
And it's working well. So audio is important. Definitely, if you're using your phone, the first thing you should buy is a microphone and these little wireless mics. Can't believe it. Crazy.
What is the brand?
I don't even know.
So impressive.
It's yellow and black.
Yeah, it's yellow and black.
Yellow,
I can
black
figure
and
it out
yellow.
while I talk about the iPhone and Android. So
Matching.
everyone realizes they have a phone and a camera in their pocket. But I don't think people realize how good these cameras are these days. You know, everyone has a 4K camera right in their pocket. They can go live directly from many different apps. And I think it's important to kind of establish that you do not need a camera to go live. You have a phone that has a camera. It is, just like Paul mentioned, it's all about the audio, as you'll see throughout this presentation, because no one cares about your video if it sounds like you're talking through a tin can, right? People are going to click off immediately if the audio is so horrible, right? So it's important to establish a good kind of audio relationship with your audience because they want to be able to enjoy what they're listening to. But it's also important to have some pretty good video. So when we're talking about, you know, your very start and intro to audio, let's flip over to the next slide, Paul, and see what we have here. So these are some very basic starter mics for you guys. I wanted to go for something that's like in $50 range because that is what you're going to be probably spending. You know, you're probably out there in a basic budget setup is probably under $100 for most people. Even $100 might be too much. So let's focus just on the audio. You want to have your phone. You can integrate a $50 microphone with your computer or plug it in via USB-C to a phone if you have like an Android or the new iPhone. These are $50 now. I mean, we've seen the price of microphones go down a lot. The first microphone I ever actually bought is the Ice Snowball microphone.
Yeah, I bought that too.
There.
I bought that and thought that I was going to like record an album and get famous, and I had one of those.
It's at my house now somehow.
You have that?
I'm pretty sure.
Oh well, keep it because it's all yours. But these things are a good buy. Now it's even going to like a second owner.
They were so popular in the beginning.
I think it's the look, right? It's a beautiful
They're
look.
so cool.
It's very iconic. They kind of establish themselves.
And Snowball too. What a perfect name for that.
Yeah, perfect name, perfect look. The brand is like right front and center. It's beautiful. But then you have over on the other side Razer, who is that kind of sleek, very gamer focused design for microphones. And the cool thing about Razer is that they try to match all of their products, right? So you can get a keyboard that matches, a pink microphone if you want your pink setup for your pink room. So very in line for content creators that love to be fashionable as much as they like good audio. So now we're talking about video. And we have some great example of different products here. So right here we have our PTZOptics Webcam 80 V2, a tiny, tiny little webcam that is only $38. A perfect little webcam to start out for new creators. Has a little privacy screen here if you don't want to worry about your privacy there. And this is under $50. So combined with this, a $50 microphone, you're under $100. Mm-hmm. And right there, you could be going and streaming at 1080p, 60 frames per second, and have a great audio mic with the Razer or the Snowball mic.
Nice. And then you included some interesting information, helpful information about the network. You got to look at your upload speed. You can go to Google and just say speed test. And it'll just boom, run a speed test. What's your download? What's your upload? Download's not as important. It's the upload that when you're streaming. That's the outbound stream is uploading into the cloud. But yeah, you want 5 to 10 megabits to do an HD stream.
Absolutely.
And 4K. You're getting into the 10 to 20 realm. And sometimes your computer just totally stops working because you're doing too many streams.
Yeah, you'll notice as we go through the presentation here is that we don't talk a lot about hardware in terms of computers, right? We don't talk about that, and we don't talk about maybe your switcher or your video kind of switcher for live switching, because I think those are separate videos entirely. I think we could make a whole video on going over as many switchers and video switchers as possible. And same goes for streaming hardware when it comes to the computer. I think most people these days, if you have a Mac, most of them have N1 and above that can easily stream almost any stream that you would like, as long as your network, as you can see on the slide there, is matching your network. So like Paul said, you can go and just type in speed test on Google. Speedtest.net is also a great website as well. TestMyNet, I think, is another one for testing your bandwidth. Always great to do that before you go anywhere else. Alrighty, so Tess, do you think you could summarize what we just spoke about?
I think so. This is a little bit challenging, but I'm gonna do it.
All right. What we're doing is our TikTok Minute segment, where we take the segment from what we just spoke about, which in this case was our budget, our basic streaming setup, and we're going to talk about it for 1 minute for TikTok here for our TikTok Minute.
TikTok.
Miss Protesto, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. Can you hear
Mike,
me?
Before you do the countdown, could you give us a 3, 2, 1 over the mic?
3, 2, 1.
Hello, Stream Geeks. This is Tess Protesto. Welcome to our TikTok Minute, where we tell you about what we're chatting about on our live stream. Right now, we're talking about a beginner setup for live streaming. Where to start? Well, the best place to start is with what's in your pocket, your cell phone. If you don't have a budget for setting up your stream, start with your cell phone. You've got a high quality, most of the time 4K camera right in your pocket, and you can go directly to Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, and the like, all the best platforms out there. If you want to bump it up a little bit, try a 1080p webcam like the PTZOptics Webcam 80 V2, along with a good microphone, because audio is key. Try maybe the Blue Ice microphone or the Razer Mini microphone. Good $50 or under microphones for you. And test your network speed on Google to test your bandwidth, because bandwidth is key as well. And that is our TikTok Minute with StreamGeeks. Thank you so much.
Nice. Great job, Tess. Great job.
Thank you.
Wonderful performance.
I had to race at the end.
I'm just to tell you, I missed the recording on that. Just so you
That's
know.
okay.
I don't know what was
We
going on.
have it recorded on YouTube.
Okay.
We do, yeah. We can always use the overlay version if we need to. That was great. I'm very impressed by both of you guys doing that.
Well,
right
you're doing
off
the next
cuff.
one,
I
so-
can't wait to see how you do.
Dang, I was trying to get away with getting you guys to do every one.
You had to do one.
Oh, man. I'm going to have presence on TikTok now. I don't know how I feel about that. All right. I think it's time to move to that middle tier. And I think the way we talked about the evolution of our studio here is how you should look at streaming. Start where you can afford it. Don't push yourself. I think we all have that friend who all of a sudden really gets into ice hockey or really gets into karate or really gets into a random hobby, and he buys hundreds, thousands of dollars worth of equipment and then he doesn't do anything with it after the first month. So you don't want to be that person is what I'm trying to say. You want to focus do it affordably, and then if you're really enjoying it, you like it, you're seeing a following, then you can start to grow and spend more money. So that's what we're talking about when it's their intermediate streaming. Obviously, you need to worry about your audio, your video, and then the small little things, which we'll get to when we're not using something like a USB mic or easy plug-and-play camera. So let's keep moving forward, Paul, and we're going to talk a little bit about some more audio. So we're bumping the game up a little bit. Some of these are USB as well, but I think it's important to talk about the difference between like a USB mic and using an interface, using a audio interface that has XLR cables. You're going to find much higher audio, much higher quality audio when you use something like an XLR cable and audio interface. But we still have some options here if you don't have those. I think the Blue Yeti form as well, so you can easily use that as well. And I think they also on top of that. So Paul's having fun with our graphics over here. But what you
Oh, sorry.
We have an SM7B right in front of us, right?
An SM7B, which we'll be talking about in the pro level of audio and video when we get to streaming. So we can move forward because obviously, as we mentioned, audio is key, but we want to talk a little bit about the video. So we have a slight upgrade here when it comes to our video because we want to take it to the next level. I think, again, it really comes to your budget, how much you're willing to spend. So I kind of capped it at $600, $700, but these are three great options for you. You have the MiniTrack 4K, which comes from HuddleCam, which I have here.
The model?
Our model for it. Little beautiful 4K here.
I thought you were saying a little beautiful Tess.
A little beautiful Tess here holding the MiniTrack 4K from HuddleCamHD. And then you could go and look at something like from vMix, which we have the G100, which is $499, which that includes a 32 millimeter lens. And you also have the beautiful Studio Pro, which works great for really any kind of content. And it's got a full optical zoom, up to 12 times zoom, and the field of view is 72 degrees as well. So it comes with a built-in light if you want the close-up action for a content creator, if you want to mount it on your desk. And it also works well mounted upside down, mounted on a ceiling, and even has a mode for 9:16 for grading our TikToks.
Boom. All right, John, I'm excited to see your TikTok minute here.
Okay, we'll get to that as soon as we go over these tiny little things. Because as soon as you start integrating XLR cables, cable management, audio interfaces, you're dealing with a lot more than just a camera and a video. And you're dealing more than just a little USB plug-and-play device. So it's important to kind of go through, you have everything, your batteries are charged, you have all the cabling you need. Maybe you even have a backup cable if you have an issue while you're about to go live. I used to work in live support, so I can't tell you how many times people are like, why, it's not working, I can't figure this out. And I'm like, well, did you try a new cable? And how many times that fixed issues was probably 25% of the time. So,
wow.
So it's really all about double checking those stupid little things, making sure you have the best capture card to bring in your video if you're using something like a capture card instead of a USB plug-and-play device. So with that being said, that is our intermediate section for streaming. And now I'm going to try and go over that myself.
You got this, buddy.
Yeah, I think this is going to work. Okay.
Alrighty, everybody. TikTok minute. Alrighty, I'm ready, guys.
You got this.
All right.
3, 2, 1.
Welcome to StreamGeeks, everyone. My name is John, and I'm talking about intermediate streaming. Over on our YouTube channel, you can learn all about the different streaming budgets that you might have, and we're going to talk about the intermediate streaming level here. So we have the 4K HuddleCamHD MiniTrack, which is a $200 device Really great plug-and-play device that you can use with USB 3.0. And a bigger upgrade, we have our 12-time Optical Zoom Studio Pro here from PTZOptics. That is great for your higher quality video, your close-up with the beautiful light here that's mounted directly on there. Some other things you want to think about, your audio. Something like a Scarlett is a great device to kind of plug XLR cables in, and you don't want to forget about those XLR cables. Make sure you have a longer cable than you think you might need. You know, make sure you have backup cables. You might need those as well. And you don't want to forget about your lighting. Don't forget about the lighting. Thank you guys. This is StreamGeeks. I'm John. I'm out.
Woo! Woo! You did it. It's really tough.
It is. It's just like I'm talking a mile a minute. I don't forget things.
Great job.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. So what do we have up next?
All right. We are moving along here. And what we want to talk about next is our pro level. And would you say, Paul, that we're at a pro level here in the studio?
I think I think so. Yes.
I definitely think so. You know, it may not be like a CNN, Fox News level professional setup, but I think in terms of streaming in the world of content creation, online streaming, I think you would deem the studio here as professional. And what we have in front of us is some amazing mics. So let's move over to the next slide where we can show off the Shure SM7B microphone, which you'll notice is used heavily on major podcasts like the Joe Rogan Experience, for instance, and the Armchair Expert with Dax Shepard. So these are such a popular microphone. You see these everywhere. Almost every podcast uses this. It's become like a standard in the industry for using these microphones. They're $400. They used to be a lot more expensive. They're more affordable now. So I think when you look at that $400 price tag, it's pretty impressive for people that, you know, see these microphones. They think that they're pretty unattainable, but for a professional level and professional quality, $400 is pretty impressive for what you can kind of get out of that. You have other microphones here listed as well if you want to really push the audio and you're willing to go and push beyond what you can see and hear from the SM7B. And then when you're moving up and you're having a lot more inputs, when we have Mike in the back here, you got Tess, we got, you know, Paul in studio here, you want more inputs. So you're looking at something like what he just pulled up, which was the Neumann or the Yamaha, where you can have a lot more inputs here. There's two different Yamaha has 16 inputs, and the Yamaha MG10X has 10 inputs. So there's different options that you have here in terms of how many inputs you want to bring in, the specific microphones you want to bring in. What I love is you just had that last microphone up, and that's a beautiful design on that Neumann, I think. That really classic 1940s, 50 design is really cool. So sometimes people want that beautiful design. A lot of people don't think about it, but it is something that's in your shot constantly. And I think a lot of people don't really think about that. They just like, it's a black microphone. It picks up my audio. That's all I need. But no, we're crafting a look and a vision. Isn't that right, Tess? You want to think about these things.
I should have said that when we were talking about studio upgrades.
Alrighty. So moving on, let's talk about some video. So we have a lot of video options here. Paul, do you want to go over maybe the Move SE to start?
Sure. The Move SE is a really good entry-level camera, especially if you're doing any movement, because it has auto tracking. So it can move around and follow you if you're a presenter. You can also remotely control it, so you can zoom into a lot of different spaces. So really nice. I would put it in the professional category because if you're just getting started, you're probably not going to get a PTZ camera, but the Move SE is definitely a nice entry-level camera for a studio.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're looking for that additional level of control, you want more than just a stationary camera on a tripod. If that is what you're looking for, then maybe look at something like a Sony, a Panasonic, a Canon camera. If you want something that's just, stuck on a tripod, that's not going to have that level of PTZ movement that you might want. The PTZ option allows you to have a big versatile change in terms of your shots. You'll see that as we stream, Mike will constantly tweak and adjust things if we move out of frame or if we need to adjust anything on the fly. A PTZ camera is much easier to do that. But if you're not looking for that, you can look at something like the Lumix GH6 or the Blackmagic Pocket 4K, which is a great camera for under $1,500. And then you're moving up beyond at the tippy top of your scale. Maybe you're going beyond the $2,000 budget for just your camera. Maybe you're looking at like a higher end Sony, the Alpha 7V, or the Alpha 7 IV, I should say. I believe that's what it is. And then even higher on the PTZ realm, the PTZOptics Move 4K. And we have one of these beauties here. Don't mind being our model again here,
Sure.
Tess.
4K video, NDI, HX,
Built-in and included.
built-in and included. We have SDI, we have HDMI outputs, IP, and USB. So every output option that you can think of blended into one unit.
So that is your step above the Move SC. You're going to push into a higher quality. These come in 12x, 20x, and 30x. Our main big camera at the very edge of the studio is a big 30x, big old Canon. He literally looks like a weapon when I see our 30x cameras. They're insane how big the lens is. They're beautiful pieces of hardware. Okay, let's keep moving forward, as I think we hit pretty well on the video and audio section. So Paul, let's go over to our last segment. And before we do that, which one of you guys wants to go over the professional streaming?
I don't care.
I'll do it.
You got it.
All right, here we go.
All
Last
right.
time I did this, I broke the stream.
So Paul's going to the stage to talk about that professional level of video and audio and how you can do it all in one for a stream.
Waiting for the countdown timer, and then I'm gonna go.
3, 2, 1.
What's up, Stream Geeks? Paul here, and we're talking about professional level video production gear. We looked at the PTZOptics Move SE, all the way up to the PTZOptics 4K, and some really great cameras in between, like Blackmagic, Sony, Panasonic. But it's not just about video, it's also about audio. I'm using one of the most professional mics in the industry right now, the SM7B right here. Hopefully it sounds good, because these things aren't cheap. They're like $400 each. And, sometimes you just want to kick it out the window. I'm just kidding. It's really worthwhile if you're getting a good studio to have good audio. This is what Joe Rogan uses in a lot of the high-end podcasts. It's fun, it's exciting, but it's not wireless. Imagine this is a wireless mic. You'd be like, But no, it's if you're building a professional production, you're probably going to put in a good mic like this, but it's not a good wireless mic. So we'll tackle that. I'm out of time, so we'll tackle that in another time.
Let's go.
Yay!
Alrighty, Paul. The slide right before this is just something we don't need to break down in a TikTok minute, but it's what I defined as controlling the mood or crafting the right streaming environment for you. So
Get the lights down.
exactly, get the lights down, make sure it's nice and dim and the candles are lit, and you want to make sure that your audience sees you, but you're also crafting an environment that makes them feel welcome, that they're kind of enjoying the visuals that you provide. So Paul's pulling up some of these like basic soft box kits, some lighting that you can do for actually very affordable. I didn't want to include these in specific categories because I thought that they are really up to the viewer. I think if you're willing to swing for an additional $100 on the budget, and you can get some softbox lighting and have a great presentation for yourself, even if you're using like a USB camera. You also will see things like the Blackmagic A10 Mini, which is a great little like hardware switcher that's under $300. The Stream Deck as well, which Paul has on his desk, which is the Stream Deck MK2, which is a beautiful device to kind of integrate with your setup. You can switch with it, you can control audio as well with it. And of course, we have our PTZOptics SuperJoy, which Paul has on his desk, which is a great controller for any of your PTZ products, especially for PTZOptics. And Paul, could you show them a little quick demo on the SuperJoy for us?
Oh, the SuperJoy. Boom. So this is the SuperJoy here. This is a joystick controller that you can set up to control easily multiple cameras. These buttons here can switch between them. On the right hand side, you've got your joystick for actually operating a PTZ camera. On the left side, you have all of your pan, tilt, and zoom speeds. So sometimes you want to move quick, sometimes you want to move slowly. even controlling the speeds between pan, tilt, zoom presets. And what that preset is, you zoom into a specific spot, you save it, and then you can recall that with a click of a button. So this is a really nice joystick, and it has some custom buttons here that you can use to start streaming and recording with. Everyone really seems to like this joystick.
Yeah, it's a beautiful joystick for controlling your PTZ cameras. And again, hello to those TikTok viewers that are live. Thank you for tuning in. We're hoping we can do this more often on TikTok as well. So quick summary, you want to control the mood. What the viewer sees is also as important as what they're hearing. So you want to provide some quality lighting. Maybe you want your dim, moody lighting, depending on what kind of content you're generating, what you're making. So I want to throw a quick curveball at you, Tess, and have you do one more TikTok minute. And I want you to summarize streaming on any budget. And what I mean by that is I want you to explain to the audience, let's say we're talking to someone that's just getting started. They're brand new. What do you tell someone? And I want you to summarize everything that we've gone over in this video stream today.
In a minute?
In a minute for our TikTok audience. Do you think you can do that?
Sure.
Let's go, Tess. Thank you so much for joining me on this TikTok minute. So Tess is going to go to her presentation. Paul, make sure we're recording for this TikTok here.
I don't know.
And
You can have link in bio in TikTok? Okay.
We're working towards that. We're going to get there.
Okay.
So Tess, again, I'll summarize it for you. I want you to review what we've gone over today. Summarize to someone who's just getting started out.
Just go to StreamGeeks.us.
Okay. Because I want to plug that too. In this
Yes,
TikTok minute.
absolutely. I think we're ready, Mike.
3, 2, 1.
What's up, Stream Geeks? This is our TikTok minute where we tell you everything that's going on in a live show in a single minute. First off, we have our upcoming Stream Geeks Summit where we are teaching you everything you need to know about live streaming. You can go to streamgeeks.us to register for that event. Today we talked about streaming on any budget, starting with beginners. Start with your cell phone. If you're ready to bump up from that, go with a webcam and maybe a blue mic or a Razer mic. Was that it? Okay, yep. Great. And be sure to check your bandwidth because that's very important. If you're going for an intermediate setup, check out the PTZOptics Studio Pro. That's a great step up above a webcam with maybe a Shure mic or a USB-powered microphone as well. For that pro section there, consider PTZ cameras. They're great to have multiple angles with a single camera operator. PTZOptics Move 4K and Move SE are great options. Also check out Blackmagic's cameras. They're great too. And this has been your TikTok Minute.
Woo! Incredible. That was amazing. You did actually a way better job summarizing every single one than I was even expecting.
Really?
Yes, that was impressive.
Thank you.
So let's keep going, and I want you guys to go follow us. We're StreamGeeks1 on TikTok, but everywhere else we are at StreamGeeks, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, where we are currently streaming live to you guys. So I also want to call out the 5th annual StreamGeeks Summit, which is coming on December 20th. And the link of the YouTube you will be able to find and register for the 5th annual StreamGeeks Summit. Paul, what else can we review today, and what else can we say for StreamGeeks? What can we expect for StreamGeeks in the future? What can we expect at the summit?
Well, this summit this year is really going to be exciting. We have folks from Zoom, from Dante, from LiveView, from Speedify, from Broadcast Picks, from Netgear. I mean, the list goes on and on. So the point of it is to bring networking to everyone so that you can really meet some of these professionals in the industry, share your experiences, learn together. We designed it so that there's not only a webinar for educational purposes, but a breakout meeting room. So if you're feeling like chatting with your friends, getting to connect with all the people that come to these events, you can do that. If you want to go for the educational, you can do that. If you just want to win up to $5,000 worth of tech, you can do that. So we're going to bring some fun energy to this show. It's going to be entertaining. It's going to be fun. I'm excited. I hope to see y'all there.
If you want to register for the StreamGeeks Summit, please do so in the YouTube description, especially if you're watching on demand. You can still register for the event in the YouTube description on StreamGeeks channel. And the same goes for that awesome giveaway that Paul was talking about. Both links are in the description. And if you're watching today and have not yet, please like and subscribe so we can continue bringing you content like this.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
See you next time.
See you next time.